Hey, Jessica. Man, so tonight I think I'm just gonna think we'll probably just do like a real short show for the most part. I Here, let me hold on. Sorry. No, you had a hell of a day today, didn't you? How was your day, Jessica? I know you said that Bimmy went through and ate up your shit. You thought it was you thought it was me and Caden. Like, I mean, Caden did bring me a big piece of brownie though, but oh wow. Hmm, that's crazy. So for everybody stopping in, there's usually a 60 to 90-second delay of what I see and hear, then vice versa. Hey, Rebecca, what's going on? I better get my conversation in with you pretty quick before you go to bed. I was just telling Jessica that we're gonna be pretty quick tonight. Tonight's just gonna be a quick recap on the last couple nights of what we were discussing. My aunt was like, I think it'd be a great idea for you to kind of do like a series. And maybe she's right. I don't know. Um I don't know if I'm cool with it, but if you guys like it, I'll do it. I'll keep going with it. Um but she was like, you should do like a part 1 and like a part 2 and then like a third night. Hey, tell the girls that said hello. Awesome. Hey, Morgan, give them big hugs and kisses for me. Oh, they're sharing one phone tonight. Well, that makes sense. I'm pretty sure that her phone went dead. Or your phone went dead, Jerry. Itty bitty litty. Beautiful Ella Bug. How are you guys? Itty bitty litty. Ella Bug. How are you guys? You guys okay? Staying out of trouble? Probably not. Especially Ella Bug. Oh, okay, I got you. Okay. So Ben has Jerry's phone. Okay, well, I mean that works. So what's Max doing? That's what's up. I love that. She said she's sitting there answering me like I can hear her. Yeah, that's cute. I love that. So how's your guys' day been today? My day started off amazing. Hello, Naomi. How are you, ma'am? Oh, okay. He's on his tablet. 7 years. There's seven now, right? 7 years old on tablets. You know, it's so crazy. When Caden turned 8, I believe I bought him a phone. I bought him a Boost mobile phone, and I told him, I said, "Son, if you do pretty good with this, then I'll graduate you up." He never had a problem with that thing forever, and he kept it for a long time. And I think when he turned, I think it was like 11 or 12, I got him an upgrade to not Boost but AT&T. I actually put him on my plan, and I, I don't necessarily know if technology is that good for kids, but whatever. I mean, I remember back in the day they used to say, "Man, you guys shouldn't be watching so much television." Remember, television was the evil programmer back in the day. Now it's phones and social media and YouTube and TikTok, and who would have thought that 30 years ago this is where we would be today? That's crazy. Crazy. Rebecca said not happening. She said no. She said that they said that they're lucky they even have what they have now. My son has a couple friends that live across the street from us. We live in a military, offsite military housing in Bellevue. And his friends that he plays with, he's 16 years old. They are not allowed to have any. They don't have phones. They don't have tablets. The only games that they have, they it's like like in a common room, which is the living room, and they all have to play the same game. So it's like either Roblox or Fortnite. They don't get to play like other games they actually want to play. Like their parents are out on that. They no electronics at all, and that's how they were raised in general. So it's not like that they're missing out on anything. They just know that other kids have it and they don't. But their parents also homeschool them too. So, I mean, and what but what do you do with that? Like I said, there's usually a 60 to 90-second delay in what you see in here and also what I see in here. So if you write something, I may not you may whenever you hit enter, I may not see it for another 60 to 90 seconds. So unfortunately, that's the way that this thing handles. I'm using this application called StreamYard, and StreamYard usually lets me stream it from Facebook, YouTube, um, and basically whatever else. They'll let me kind of stream across a multitude of different boards. So hold on one second. I need to change out our banner. Hold on. Jeez. Hold on. Okay. There we go. There we go. So we even changed out the ticker thing too. So look at that, man. We are on show 17 already. Show 17. Can I get a round of applause right quick? I know it's the same people that keep fucking with me now, but I'm okay with it. Like I said, man, quality over quantity. Quality over quantity. So thank you guys for showing up or whatever. Like I said, tonight's gonna be a pretty short night, for the most part, because we're just gonna kind of talk about what we discussed for the last couple of nights, which again was a series of part one and part two, and then tonight we can kind of reflect on it, and then we're going to talk about. We're gonna, matter of fact, not just talk. We're gonna answer some questions that y'all have, that you guys have, like in general. That maybe because I've been doing all these other trainings and giving you guys all this other information, you may want to ask some certain questions or whatever, and I didn't have the time, or shit, we didn't probably start until 45 minutes after. I don't know, but either way, I'm here to answer whatever questions. And then if you guys want me to um, talk about certain things, or create a whole episode on other things, I mean, let me know that too. Right now, I have oh my gosh, I think right now in my queue, I have about, hold on. See, the great thing about this is that I can show you what's in the queue. Hold on. Let's see if I hmm. Did we put, that's odd. Oh, that's why. Because I didn't put it. Here's the cool thing. I didn't put it in. I didn't create a slide for it yet. So right now it's still in the humble phase, which is, oh man, I'm about to show you guys this. You guys see these? These are all the things that are coming down the path. So we got 100 questions and answers and themes over here. We have, I think we already did this one over here. The 4 main attachments. Remember, we were talking about attachments, and one of the things that the book, The 5 Love Languages, never really talked about are people's attachment issues, right? And not just issues, but their language, right? Because we all have attachment languages. So that's here. Again, I don't necessarily know if I'm gonna do a whole thing on it. I might just kind of touch on it, or just give it to you guys, right? Because that's what this whole thing is about. It's about kind of seeing what we are and then just giving you the information, right? And then, I mean, as your life coach or whatever, you can hit me up, and then I can teach you how to use it. But if I do a good enough job explaining it to you, you guys can do it here, right? So I can explain it here, you can get it, and then start using it. Because I want you to use it. Some of this stuff I build, a lot of this stuff I have paid thousands of dollars going to school for, that I'm just handing it off to you. Well, what good is it that I have it and you don't? Right? Just saying. Okay, right? Throw it out there. We also have this one. I don't know what this one is. Oh, hold on. Oh, look at this. When life feels heavy, try changing the meaning, not the weight. Right? So we have 8 different things all in there. See, again, like I said, ladies and gentlemen, they're already wrote up. I already wrote them up. I just haven't sat down and turned them into slides yet. So the problem isn't the problem, it's how you see it that keeps you stuck. See, like I said, man, I mean, some of this stuff is already done. Already done. So you guys want to see some of the topics that we got? So we got perspective reframing. We have coaching principles and training. We have mindset and mental models. Tools for transformation. certain books or whatever. I love this one. Inner working and emotional mastery, life, money, and relationships. That one was fun, kind of writing up. Interactive and coaching exercises, entrepreneurship, and meaningful work. And then we have this other one right here, reoccurring series ideas or whatever, which is just shit that I'm working on. So if you notice, there's 100 different things. Like I said, 100 uh, Ask Fearless topics. So, so if you guys ever think like, man, one day this dude's just gonna run out of shit to talk about, I promise you I won't. And you know the funny thing is that the stuff that I actually want to discuss and talk about are not even on any of these things. I haven't even put them on there. Isn't that fun? I haven't even put them on here. Like, not whatsoever. So, like, look at this one right here. We got themed questions. So we have the philosopher's lens. We have hold on, let's go. Let's see if we can. The Life Lab, mindful mirrors, quantum reflection. I'm just showing y'all that these are all of these themes and questions are whole entire presentations that principles and power. What is this one? The accountability zone, identity reboot, work and worth, and beyond the matrix. Down here we have a whole bunch of other questions as well. Professional perspective. So again, we have nothing. I have so much material, it's ridiculous. So much. I feel like Donald Trump. I'm not even gonna lie to you. I got so much material. Do you guys hear me? So much material. But either way, without further ado, let's get it started, and then we'll kind of go into our thing. And I'm gonna probably let you guys go tonight because number one, I'm tired of shit. Not of doing this, because I love this. Either way, I'm gonna see you in a minute, and then we can talk about it. All right, give me a minute. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Fearless Cummings. I will be your host and neighborhood life coach for the evening. And number one, thank you for joining me. My job is on this channel is to give you some practical and usable tools, tips, strategies for your dreams, goals, aspirations, and or problems. I tell people usually off the top that if you are easily offended, swipe left, keep it pushing. If you want to do the work, take some accountability, this is the place for you to be. So anyway, this is actually a what am I calling these? I forgot what I was calling it, but this is like a live 100-day live life coaching training and also Q&A. I've been so nervous to just hit that damn play button and just go that where we at? We're at 17 now, 17 days now, so 17 hours of material, right? 17 hours of product content, right? I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm very proud of myself. I was talking to a friend of mine about 20 days ago, and she had been on live just doing it for like a year or so, and she told me that she was working with this network marketing company, and the company told her that you have 15 days for 15 minutes to produce and talk about 15 pieces of what you're going to be selling. She said, man, I was so scared. She said, I just hit the button and I just went. And I was like, man, if she can do it. Hold on. Sorry, I have to keep clearing my throat. Jessica, didn't I tell you to remind me about the chamomile? I could have swore that we talked about this last night. Or were you gone again? Naomi, can we talk? Listen, If Jessica can't do it, Naomi, can you do it for me, please? Can you please remind me to get some chamomile? Rebecca, Jerry, please remind me to get some chamomile. I'm just saying, I'm always clearing my throat every time I'm on here. Pretty please, sugar on top, because Jessica is not going to do it. Just saying. She's not going to do it. Look at this, y'all. She said, I didn't hear that part, but I have some for you. Of course she didn't. It's supposed to be my best friend. It's supposed to be on the ones and twos. And always gone. But you know who's always here? Me. I'm always here. Because I said I would be here. So I'm here. Just saying. Just throwing that out there. Anyhow, now I forgot what I was talking about. Sorry. Because I was rudely interrupted. Because I had to clear my throat once again. I have asked of this individual thrice to remind me. You know what? How about I just take my own advice and just write it down? How about I do that? How about I take some accountability and write my shit down? Chamomile tea, yes. Camel tea, chamomile, you know what I'm talking about. Yes. Tea. Thank you, Angie, for correcting me again. I'm going to write this down for myself since my best friend Jessica's not going to do it. She's not going to do it. It's okay. I'll do it. It's fine. How do you spell it? Okay, got it. So anyway, we usually kind of have this whole ambiance of things that we're gonna usually talk about, but today I'm kind of not. I'm kind of taking Anne's idea. Not gonna lie to you, I don't know if I like it, but I mean, hey, here's the thing. I'll try anything at least once or thrice to know if I actually like it or not. And here's the cool thing. We have 83 more days to go. So I'm cool with it. Let's run it. You know what I mean? In 3 days, it will be our 20th show. Here's the thing. Jerry, are you with me? How do you eat an elephant? I like asking that question. Mainly to Jerry. Because the rest of y'all, I don't even know if y'all even around. Sometimes I feel that like it's just me and Jerry here. I feel like that sometimes. Jessica's a mom. She has kids all the time. Sometimes Naomi can't be here. I'm sure Morgan and them are gone again. Jerry Bear, I think it's just you and I, buddy. And now Rebecca, which I'm very proud of. Proud to add to our dysfunctional family. And now Angie, whenever she can come around. I'm just saying. I need help too. And my help comes from somebody reminding me of chamomile. I don't know. Like I always say, though, repetition is key. Anything worth knowing, of course. I don't understand why this individual calls me every time we do this. Calls me at the same exact time. Thank you, Jerry Bear. Thank you, buddy. I'm just saying. Either way, The word repetition is key. That is what that's what gives life its flavor. Sometimes it's one of the ingredients of the flavor of the month is repetition, right? That we do something over and over and over again. Jerry, how do you eat an elephant? Jerry, how do you eat an elephant? Like I always say, ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately, we are usually 60 to 90 seconds delay. So if I say something, it sounds like, damn, like is he just ignoring people? No. There's usually a delay. It's about a 60 to 90-second delay in what I see and hear, as well as what you see and hear. Thank you, sir. One bite at a time. That's how you eat an elephant, ladies and gentlemen. One bite at a time. So, what does that mean? That basically means that celebrate those small wins as if you just won the whole enchilada. Speaking of enchiladas, I find them absolutely delightful. I love a good enchilada, chicken and beef. And Romeo's, I just got one of those. It was a steak one. Oh my lord, it was delicious. But that's how you do it, one bite at a time. You don't have to eat the whole entire elephant. Just take a bite out of it. Okay? That's it. So we have 100 to do, but I take them small little things or whatever. So I do ones, fives, and tens. What do I mean by that? So every day that I do it, I'm happy because I showed up. I knocked another one out. But I'm like, okay, well, what's the next one? So the next one will be 20. And then it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. Then it'd be 25 shows and then 30 shows. You see what I mean? But every time we do one, I celebrate in some way. See what I mean? So our next celebration for the most part will be in 3 days for our 20th. And then our 25th. See what I mean? And then we'll be like, what, 1/4 done? Or maybe 1/4 beginning. Shit, I don't know. We'll figure it out. But either way, I appreciate you guys showing up. Either way. All right, so kind of getting into it real fast, if you guys don't mind. So the first part of this was the 7 subtle signs that this isn't love anymore. Okay. We talked about constant confusion. We talked about people being one-sided. We talked about the disrespect, the side talk, inconsistency, control. Excuse me. You shrinking to keep the peace to make somebody else feel better about themselves, and then them gaslighting you. You know, and we've all talked that, you know what, we've done some of these things to other people. All right. I mean, I'm not necessarily saying that I'm an angel in this, because Lord knows I am a horrible proponent in doing every single one of these. Oh, all of them. And the 8th one, which I didn't even put on here, but don't worry about it. We're good. Right? But I've done all of these. And I think that when I was talking to you guys, I think a lot of y'all said that y'all did a lot of the same things too. And they've all been done to us. Right? Just throwing it out there. You know, this has been done to us as well. Can I get a hell yes? Naomi, obviously you could say heck yes. But let me get a hell yes if you've done this and it's been done to you before. Matter of fact, I'll start it off. Oh, please. Yep. Rebecca says, yep. Trial and Error Podcast says, yep. Alex Fearless says, hell yes. Just saying. Jessica, you here? Naomi, you here? She says you're funny. I appreciate that, ma'am. I don't know what I'm funny about, but I appreciate that. Ann, are you here? Have you done any of these, or has any of these things been done to you? Have you been talking to somebody or been in a relationship? Where is this, man? The hell is going on here? Why do I feel like I'm the one doing all the work? Am I being disrespected over here? Man, this guy is seriously extremely inconsistent, isn't he? He's consistently inconsistent. Or she's consistently inconsistent. Why is she always recording all my phone calls, all my text messages? Why do I feel like I'm up under surveillance with this person? This ain't a friendship. This is a hostage. This is a hostage negotiation. Should I be calling the cops? Jessica and I, we know people like this. Jess, do we not? Angie said, these things have been done to me. She said, yes, they have been done to me. Jess and I know people like this. They are vicious. And then have the nerve to call you a friend. Have the galls to say that y'all friends. Shit, where do they do that at? I don't think that we have the same definition of what that word friendship means. I just got a book today. Let me see if I have it. Do I have it up here? Yeah, give me a second. Oh man, I ain't even put my my thing on. Hold on. Okay, there we go. So there's this book right here. It's called Seneca, Letters of a Stoic. Matter of fact, I'll put it up here so you guys can actually see it. But it's an amazing book, man. I've read it before, but letter 3. Hold on one sec. Hold on. Seneca, letters. Okay, there we go. Hold on. Let's find it. Hold on. Okay, here we go. Okay. Yep. Okay, there it is. So this book right here is this guy, his name was Seneca, and Seneca was he was excommunicated to this like small island during Nero's reign. Now, if you guys know who Nero was in antiquity, he's the guy that had the 666 mark of the beast, like that real evil dude. That was based on him. So he was actually a real guy. And Nero basically wanted Seneca dead, but he couldn't kill him at that time. So he just excommunicated him to this island. Well, while he was on this island, his friend, I think his friend's name was Lucius, or hold on, let me go in and look. I think it was Lucius, something like that. Anyway, his buddy started sending him, his friends started sending him letters, and they were writing each other. And one of the things that he talked about was that, and if you don't mind, I'm going to read just a little bit of this. He said, you have sent me a letter by hand of a friend of yours, as you call him, and in the next sentence, you warn me to avoid discussing your affairs freely with him, since you are not in the habit of doing so yourself. In other words, you have described him as being a friend, then denied this in one hand, the same in the same letter. So on one hand, you're telling me that this is your friend, but on the other hand, you're telling me don't tell this dude shit. Don't trust him either, right? And unfortunately, we know people like this too. I think, matter of fact, can I get a hell yeah that we know people like this that you might call them, you might say friend, which I choose not to, but you might call a person a friend who you wouldn't tell shit to. Nothing. At least nothing like really important. But one of the things that he said, let me try to find it. He said that basically that he said most people decide once they get to know you a little bit whether or not you guys are going to be friends and this and the other, right? What he's saying is that you need to figure that out before you call this person your friend, right? So he said, oh my gosh, how did he say it? Where did he say it at? Said something about judge him first. Here it is. After your friendship is formed, you must trust. But before that, judge him. So judge this dude first and then trust him afterwards. And if he's not the person that friend word is based on, then drop his ass like a bad habit. Don't ever call him a friend again. Call him anything else, but don't call him that. Because we get so bogged down in the titles that we give people. And with that, we consistently keep thinking that there are certain people out here that are our friends, and they are not at all. And sadly enough, you're not going to know that until the end. So he says that before you start trusting a person, judge them. And I know all y'all can judge somebody. We all can, right? We can all judge another person real quick before we give them that to me prestigious title of friend. But here's another thing that he says about friendship. He says that when you call somebody your friend, when they're around you, it should be basically like you're by yourself. Because he said that there's nothing that you should not be able to tell your friend that you couldn't say to you. He said there's nothing that you couldn't say to yourself that you couldn't say to your friend. He said anything. There's nothing that you should say to you that you could not say to a friend. Nothing. He said there's nothing off limits that you can't tell a friend. Y'all, I've had so-called girlfriends that I couldn't say shit to. Hence, that's why I'm not with her, right? Or them in general, right? So this is a really fun book to read. And again, this dude actually, if I'm not mistaken, I think he lived, if I'm not mistaken, I think he lived during the time of Jesus. I believe that he did. Yeah, it says that he basically lived from no. Maybe he didn't. No, he lived in AD. No, so if he didn't live during I'm pretty sure that he did though. If he didn't live during Jesus's time, I know for a fact that he lived during Paul's time, because Paul came after Jesus, and the early Christians were trying to say that Paul was sending oh yeah, but as you get older and wiser, you learn. Correct. It was one of the things that Paul. It was said that Paul was sending Seneca um, letters while he was on that island, and people were saying that Seneca was sending him letters back, like, "Yes, I've heard of Christ. I've heard of all of these different things, whatever. I love your movement. I love what you guys are doing." And then it came back that it was a fake. Like Seneca never said anything like that to Paul whatsoever, or whatever. So I mean, sometimes that also does happen too. That they find a lot of fakes like that. I mean, it happens where you try to validate a story, so you try to put as many people into your pot, into your shit as you possibly can. And here's the thing: it doesn't necessarily take away from the story itself. You're just trying to add on to it, but you don't need to be um you don't need to try to lie about that, because you got enough people who can vouch for your story. You know what I mean? Angie said to be careful with who you call a friend, otherwise you are setting yourself up to be hurt and disappointed. And you know what, though? I think that that's going to be with anybody. You know, I mean, really, I think that it will be. And that's the reason why he said judge first, trust second. A lot of us will trust you first and then judge you after the shit you done to us. Right? Seneca is saying, no, 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 no. Get to know this person before you give them that title of friend. Judge them based on that. And sadly enough, you still might get taken to the ringer. You still might go through the ringer because some people are going to try to hide who they are. Are they not? Jessica, are they not? See, you could think somebody is an absolute a beast out here, loyal to a T, and then come to find out, man, boy, they've been plotting on you since day one. I heard this poet say that, see, the problem is that they knew about you from the beginning because you've always been real with them, but they've never been real with you. So they always understood what they can get away with you because they knew where you stood, but you never knew where they stood at. And again, I mean, and maybe that's a part of trusting people first and then judging them second. But again, like I said, Seneca said, no, 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 no. Don't do that. Judge their asses first and then trust them second. Which I'm like, you know what? I read this book so long ago, and now I still consistently keep saying, like, man, this man was right. He was right. But anyway, going into the other one. So this is part 2. And one of the things that I kind of talked about before, Peter, let me show you where we at. One of the things that we had kind of talked about before with this was that, like I said during part 1, the reason why people do this to us is because we have no clear set boundaries for shit. And instead of, like I told you guys before, like I wrote this whole thing up of, hey, I'm going to write this up based on how to set proper boundaries, which is one thing. But the problem is with that is that that's different than reestablishing our boundaries with people, right? That's different because it's a different format. It's a different everything. You're setting the stage. You're setting the foundation that everything else stands on. With this here, unfortunately, you have to reestablish. So that means that you've already allowed these people to habitual line step on you, that you already had some boundaries that they didn't overstepped. They've crossed that proverbial line on you multiple times. So now they don't even trust your boundaries because sometimes you don't trust your own. So one of the things that the first thing that we talked about was revisiting what it is that you want. Most of us talk all day long about what we want in a relationship, what we want out of this, that, or the other. But we don't do what it takes to actually make that happen. Most people, like honest to God, most people have no idea what it is that they want. Like dead ass, like a lot of us don't. Right? You can ask a person like, "What is it that you want?" Oh, well, I want this, I want that, I want that, I want this. Right? And sometimes I don't know. Right? So how do you get to the nitty gritty of what it is that you want? It's usually what you don't want. So if you're ever talking to a person again, as your host and life coach, my job is to give you these tools, tips, and strategies that work. If you can't figure out what it is that you want, instead think about what it is that you no longer want. What's no longer serving you? If you look at it from that standpoint, then usually what you want is the opposite of what you don't. That's why it's never hard for me to help a person kind of figure out what their dream goals or aspirations are. It's not hard for me to help you figure out how to solve problems. What is it that you don't want? Well, if I ask what is it that you want, I don't know what I want. Cool, not a problem. That's okay. Yes. What don't you want? Give me a list of all the shit that's bothering you. Oh my God, I could do that. And then you can get to writing, get to writing, get to writing. Usually what you want is the opposite of what you don't. See what I mean? That's simple. Okay. Second thing is use I statements. I instead of accusations. Again, one of the things that we talk about a lot every day that we're on, and matter of fact, hold on, let me jump in here right quick. I kind of like doing this a little bit. I'm not gonna lie to you. Is touching on this word right here, accountability. We talk about this every shit for the last 17 days. We've been talking about this one word, right? We're gonna touch on responsibility second. Accountability. What is it? The state of being answerable, liable, responsible. Answerable means I don't make excuses and I don't accept them. Liable means I'm gonna keep my word no matter what I'm out here doing. My word is the new currency. Responsibility is based on actions, it's based on what you do. Right? Think about that. Responsibility is based on a duty or an obligation to what you do. What are you doing? Right? Number two, responsibility, the state of being answerable for what's within your control. Understanding and knowing and understanding where your responsibility starts and stops is number one. That comes before everything else. Because otherwise, you could be in somebody else's shit and not even know it. You can't take any responsibility for what I'm out here doing. Well, I guess to a point because, like I told you guys before, I think during our first episode, which is the introduction when we talked about the school thing. Schools have taken responsibility and accountability away from our children and they place that shit back on the parents. So what I mean by that is if you drop your kid off at school and you drive off, but you watch that child walk into that school and you leave. If that child walks into one door and walks out of the other, as soon as my kid got out of my car and walked into that school, my responsibility as a parent is now over. Your responsibility as a caretaker, if you will, begins. And so does my son's. He now has to be held accountable for what's within its control, which is staying in the school. But if he walks out, they'll blame you for that. They will take no accountability. They take no responsibility for that. So then, therefore, your kid doesn't take any responsibility or accountability for that. See what I mean? So that's why it's so important to understand what's within your control. Your actions, your attitude, your energy, the choices that you make, and your emotions. Those are yours. That's pretty simple. You know, those are yours. right? Number three, we talked about this before. Silence isn't strength. Speak up. You know, even Jesus had the ability to say something. He chose not to, but even he practiced the the art of remaining silent. But again, unfortunately, even for him, he really couldn't because that was all part of the 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 prophecy. Unfortunately, even if he could have been like, "Man, bro, man, let's just get on with it," he ain't say nothing, right? But it was part of the prophecy. So why would he say anything? He got to let this thing happen, right? If I knew that I'm going where I'm going, then this I need, I'd have been like, "Bro, get on with it. Stop talking. Let's go. I got shit to do." Right? All right. The other number four is stop explaining yourself to everybody. Stop that shit. And this is where you have the right to remain silent. That's not just a right or a law. It's something that you don't have to do. If if Jesus kept his mouth shut, you can keep your mouth shut too. Shut up. Again, like when I tell people about that, when I watch Shark Tank, I love watching Shark Tank, but I like to watch Shark Tank with the volume off, like with it off, because I can pinpoint with extreme perfection of who's going to get deals and who doesn't, based on who's talking. Who's talking? When when the contestants are talking, for the most part, man, they don't have a deal. When the judges are talking, you always get a deal. I've seen more people talk themselves out of a deal than I've seen people talk themselves into one. Silence is power, man. When you use it effectively. When you use it effectively. Otherwise, you're just gonna walk around. People just gonna think that they can walk all over you, which is not cool, right? All right. So for those of you who are just now entering into the fearless zone, I am Fearless Cummings, your neighborhood host and life coach. Been coaching for about 23 years. I'm here to give you some tools, tips, and strategies for your dreams, goals, and aspirations. If you're easily offended, you should swipe left and keep it pushing. So tonight we are talking about like kind of like a recap for the last two nights. The first night we talked about, I can just kind of pop on these here. Let's see. Oh, hold on. Sorry about that. The first night we talked about the seven subtle signs that it's not love anymore. And this is basically people just kind of doing you and treating you like shit and you allowing it to happen. Right. And then today we're this one right here, the 7 ways to reestablish our boundaries, is technically part 2 of that one, just a boundary issue type of thing. So, like I said before, a lot of the problems that we have is not based on what we think about it, it's how we think about it. And a lot of it is based on our boundaries. That not only that we have with ourselves, but that what we have with other people. Okay, can I get a hell yes? Need to wake your asses up in here. Can I get a hell yeah? Except for you, uh, Naomi, you can say heck yes. Heck yeah. Because she does not use profanity whatsoever. So you can say heck yeah. Or even thumbs up. Thumbs up works too. Like I said, this is kind of like this is the recap of all, of those two things. Do you guys let me ask you, do you guys agree with 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 where I'm at with this? When I say that these are, like this not the recap of it's not love anymore. And the problem with that is our boundaries. Do you guys agree with that? That this is more of a boundary issue. And I can almost, like I said before, guarantee you that most problems that we have are boundary related. I can, I'm telling you, I'm looking for C. But I have this thing that's been pulsating in my mind that accountability is one huge reason that we are where we are. Boundaries are where we are. And I want to say clarity, having a sense of clarity of where I'm going, where I've been, where I'm standing at, right? A sense of clarity. And I've been really playing around with this idea that dude, like if you understand those three C's, name a problem. Eh, There's this thing. Where's my guy at? So in my, I have these books like right above my desk that Naomi and I built. Thank you, dear. Um, Matter of fact, that bookshelf that you guys see behind me with all the lights and stuff, Jessica helped me put the lights on those bookshelves behind me. But Naomi and I built that. We built that whole entire we built that whole entire shelf plus the desk that I'm sitting on right now. We built all of this, and like I'm telling you, it's fun to build. I'm gonna just put it out there. It's fun to build your own stuff, right? But again, though, going into accountability, um, boundaries, and a sense of clarity, I think that if you, I almost think that that is the ABCs of 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 every problem that we have ever had, and the things that we can do to prevent or solve a lot of our own issues. But that's what I was going to tell you. There's a pastor by the name of T.D. Jakes. He said, if man or money can solve your problem, you don't have a problem. I'm going to say that again. If man or money can solve your problem, you don't have a problem. I'm going to say that just one more time because remember, patterns happen in threes. If man or money can solve your problem, then you don't have a problem. I've never heard anything. I've never heard truer words spoken than that. I that's kind of what I like to think about. I like to live my life by. I like to consistently try to remember that, right? And again, that's also that piece of clarity, right? That's that piece of clarity. But that's one of the things that I've been working on within myself is accountability, my boundaries, and a sense of clarity, right? Um, and so let's touch back on this cheat sheet. Um, so, matter of fact, before I go into that, what do you guys think about that? What do you think about? Um, do you think it's that simple? I know that there are. I don't know. I mean, am I again? I've always been accused of being on cloud nine with a lot of stuff, but am I simplifying this so much that I'm just breaking this down and oh, is this an oversimplification of what I'm really asking that question? Because sometimes I break things down so much, so minuscule that to me it's like shit, this makes perfect sense. But to somebody else, they're like, no, that what? What are you talking about? No, you got this issue, you got that problem, you got this, and I don't know. I mean, is it that simple? Accountability, boundaries, and clarity. I mean, if I think of politicians, for instance, I mean, one of the things that they say is, "Well, I'm not responsible for that." Right, but you have a job where you are a spokesman for America. So how are you not responsible for what's being said? Even I say our president Donald Trump. I may not have voted for him. I may not even care for the man, but he's still our president. And I'm going to show that man the respect that I would have shown Barack or anybody else who would have actually stood in that as president. Period. I didn't pick him, but we did as a collective. So I'm accountable for that too. Right? I live here. He's still my president. So regardless of what I do, I'm still here. Right? I mean, unless I left. But boundaries. Okay, well, boundaries start with you. Accountability starts with you. A sense of clarity starts with you. So I'm really asking y'all, am I oversimplifying this? Because I really don't know. I would love to know what y'all think about that. And like I said, ladies and gentlemen, if you're answering the question, which I hope that you are, there is a 60 to 90 second delay in what I see and hear, and vice versa. So if you guys are answering this stuff, I'm not going to see it for a little bit. My question is, am I oversimplifying this? Okay, I'll wait to the. Oh, Jessica says not at all. Okay. Oh, Angie even says no. No, not for me. Okay. Okay. And again, like I said, I'm just asking or whatever because I've been accused of oh, like I said before, oversimplifying stuff. Instead of making things bigger than what they are, I will like, it's not that big of a deal, right? Good night, Becca. I already knew that. Good night. We'll hopefully see you tomorrow. Get some rest. She's funny. That's like one of the hardest working women. So, but yeah, now thank you guys for saying that though, because I'm always wondering if it's just me that feels that way about that. I don't know. But okay, so let's get into the other ones. Number 5. Okay, she said like under exaggerate. Is that what you're asking? Um, yes and no. Yes and no. Because sometimes I kind of feel that I am I think that I'm pragmatic, but I also think that I am um I would say I'm pragmatically optimistic if that's a thing. I'm real. I'm very pragmatic because this is just the way things are. But I'm also hopeful and optimistic about the future. I just am. I just am. I believe that everything's going to work itself out. Jessica, you and I have talked about that before. I have a principle that I live by that states that everything is perfect just the way it is. And what I mean by that is that anything that's going to change, any progress that's going to be made right now is a perfect opportunity for it to happen. This is a perfect weather. It's a perfect climate. And I'm not saying that I'm saying that everything is perfect just the way that is. Right? In order for things to change, in order for things to progress forward or go behind. Trump being president, It's perfect just the way it has to happen. Whatever's going to happen, him being president was a part of it, right? There's these certain pine cones. I want to show you guys real quick about this. On I think they're called Lodge cone. Here we go. I want to show you guys these right quick. And the reason why I want you to see this is because these pine cones here, their seeds do not open until it's like over 100 and some degrees. If I'm not mistaken, I think it has to be like 200 degrees for them to drop, and then everything starts to open up within them. Everything opens up within them. But here's the thing: most people think that these fires are imperfect. You think, well, no, we shouldn't be having them. I'm telling you that you have to have them in order for other trees, pine cone trees, to grow the way that they need to. That's not an opinion, that's a fact. So when a fire happens, that's a perfect situation for things to consistently keep moving forward. Consistently. Now, when I say perfect, I'm not saying that everything's perfect just the way it is, because nothing's ever going to change. I'm saying that that everything is perfect just the way it is for things to change. You see what I'm saying? It's the right climate. It's the right people. It's the right situation. It's the right president. It's the right situation. It's the right war. For things to consistently move forward, you have to have the right shit. Thank you, Jerry. Thank you. Hold on. I'm gonna put Jessica stuff in there too. Hold on. Because I want to make sure I'm transparent. Okay. Jessica says, I personally disagree, which I totally understand. But Jerry was a firefighter. So, Jerry, you know what I'm talking about. Like, you have to have a certain amount of heat for these things for the seeds in these things to open up to start a brand new tree. They will not come out. They will not, they won't create. This situation has to be perfect for it to do that. And perfection at that particular moment in time has to be a degrees that is over 200 what, Jerry? 200 degrees and counting. It has to be that hot for those things to crack open. Has to be. Otherwise, they won't survive anything. They'll crack a little bit, then they'll die off. It has to be that hot for that to work. And that's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that things are perfect and nothing needs to change. No. I'm saying that the situations that we find ourselves in are perfect for things to change. It's a perfect climate for it. Right? And again, that's okay, hold on. Hold on. Let's look at these. Okay, think of it like popcorn. I like that. How hot does popcorn need to get in order for it to do its thing? Hold on, let's look that up. Okay, hold on. Here, let's see. What does it say here? Oh, wow. Look at that. It says that popcorn has to reach a degrees of 356 degrees. Okay. So Jessica, so now you agree. So you understand that part. Okay. And now I understand why when I said that. But Jessica, the reason why I can say that now is because you questioned me. on that. When I first told Jessica this, she was like, "Dude, I don't agree with that at all, whatsoever." And now she's saying, "No, no, okay, the way you explained it now, I get it, right? I get it." So no, thank you for that. Thank you for that. So I mean, and my fault about that. I should have explained that. I should have probably gone down that rabbit hole a little bit more in that. But another thing too, look at this. The best popping temperatures is between 400 and 460 degrees. Oil burns at 500 degrees. Y'all seeing this? Oh, come on, man. That's crazy. That's crazy talk. Look at that. Boy, that shit gotta be hot. Hot, hot. Huh? Oops, hold on, where am I? Where we at? Where are we at? Okay, here we go. Right? I mean, but that's how hot things need to get, though. Whatever. And yeah, to germinate too. Yes, Angie. Yeah. So I mean, in order for things to progressively go to where they need to get to, unfortunately, this is where we are. Right? I'm not necessarily saying that it's good or bad. It's just a perfect situation for it to do what it do. Right? Martin Luther King died at the perfect moment. I hate to say that, but show me how I'm wrong on that. Right? That man had a dream that he wasn't alive to see. He died before that dream became a reality. His dream is now our reality. Regardless of how ill-informed and fucked up it may be, Dr. King's dream is now our reality. And it's going to consistently keep getting better from here. But you also have to remember it's going to get worse from here as well. But this is why it's the perfect situation for things to progress forward. Okay? So I'm saying, for those of you who are now just joining us, thank you guys so much. My name is Fearless Cummings, and welcome to Ask Fearless. I will be your host and life coach for the evening. We're going to be wrapping up in a little bit, but my goal is to give you guys some tools, tips, and strategies for your dreams, goals, and aspirations and or problems. If you have any dreams, goals, and aspirations, this is the place for you to be. If you want to do the work, stay and hang out with us. If you don't want to do the work, well, swipe left and keep it pushing. All right, so okay, hold on. Again, disagree with how you're, but I understand what you're saying, and I'll go with okay. No, totally understand. But again, I mean, okay, but yeah, okay, no, and I totally get that. That's fine, or whatever. So let me ask you guys: do you agree or disagree with my statement that things are perfect just the way they are for things to progress forward? Now, I want to get a, just answer yes or no. That I believe that things are perfect already right now for things to progress the way that they need to go. It's the right climate. It's the right situation. We have the right president. We have the right everything in order for things to progress forward. We also have to remember anytime you get on an airplane, it's that turbulence that helps keep everything steady. It's that turbulence. It's that fight against it that keeps you going and that pushes forward everything else. So again, even with the rockiness, even with those air pockets, you have to have those in order for us to move forward. So and so she's saying that it's situational. In some instances, things should have never happened the way that they did, but they did happen. And that's what we talked about before. Oh, oh, Jerry said I have to disagree. Okay, could you give me an example? Oh, I love this. I love. Look at that, Jessica. You got somebody who actually agrees with you. Okay. Jerry said no. I disagree with that. No, things are not perfect. Okay. So he's saying, hey, and correct me if I'm wrong, but are you saying that you agree with Jessica that it's situational, that in some instances some things should just never have happened? Is that what you're saying? Angie, Naomi, what do you guys think about this? Okay, like I said, y'all, this there's a 60 to 90-second delay in what I see and hear and vice versa. So if I'm going quiet or if I ask a question or something, that usually pops up. Yep, okay. So he's saying that, and I totally oh, okay. I'm guessing that Angie's kind of on the fence about it. Um, so I mean, yeah, no, and I totally understand that, and I get that. I totally understand where you guys are coming from. I, I just I just see it one way. That's it. I see it the way that I see it, but I see it the way that it makes sense for me to see it. And it's not, again, not saying that I wouldn't want something like that to happen. Like if my son, if my son was hit by a car, or my son lost his life tomorrow during some freak accident, would I feel would I feel horrible? Of course I would. It's my baby, right? But all I'm saying is that whatever was going to happen regardless. Regardless, right? I mean, I may not necessarily want that to happen by no means, but I'll also tell you something else. The biggest problem with a lot of us is our expectations of certain stuff in general. Why do you think the Buddhist monks feel the way that they do about reality in general? That's why they tell you that, man. Buddha said that there's going to be suffering. Period. Jesus said the same thing. The Prophet Muhammad said the same exact thing. Krishna said the same exact thing. So all of these prophets and sages have all said the same thing, that we are all going to suffer in this life. It happens. It happens. But they said that the reason why we suffer is because of our attachments to all these things. That's what they said. Now, it wasn't me who said this. It wasn't me. I didn't say this. Buddha said that. Jesus said that. The Prophet Muhammad said that. Krishna said that. Lao Tzu said that. I didn't say that. They said that. So all I'm saying is that what I think that was supposed to occur, whatever happens under the sun is supposed to. Like I don't understand the rhyme or reason of it. I have to accept it or acknowledge it at least for what it is. And most of the time, I don't know what it is. Right? But I can tell you this for a fact, not one of us is getting out of here alive. I can tell you that for a fact. Right? And however my last day is, it has already been predetermined. All right? At least that's how I see it. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Like I said, I love it when people disagree with that. I love it. I think that's probably one of the only principles that I live by that other people do not live by that. Matter of fact, when I tell them, they're like, I can't wrap my brain around that. That's one of those things I cannot wrap my brain around. And I'm like, I understand that. I get it. But you know what? You know what's crazy though? Let me tell y'all this. When I talk to monks, when I talk to like theologians that are actually like Christians, they understand exactly what I'm saying. And they use the monks are always like, yeah, I get it. The Christians will be like, it all depends on where they are, but they'll be like, yeah, I get it. Some will. Some's like, no, I don't, no, no. All right. So it's, like I said, I like that one because it evokes conversation. I like that. Love it. All right, so let's keep moving for a second. All right, so please check your people pleasing shit. Right, we talked about that before too. Got to be very careful about the people that you keep around you. Right, we have to be careful. And then a lot of these people, they are habitual line steppers. That line that they're stepping over are called your boundaries. They're here to cause conflict and confusion. She said, I agree. Okay. Um, every event sets the next thing in motion. And the end result is going to be the same regardless of how we may try to change an event. That's all I'm saying. Thank you, Naomi. That's all I'm saying. It's regardless of how we want it to play out, it's gonna play out like that regardless. All right. Think about that. It's going to play out whether you wanted to or not, however you wanted to or not. How many people played the lottery and didn't get it versus the people that, or the person that did win it? That happened. That was a perfect situation to happen the way that it did. That person got up, went to, think about it. That person probably didn't do anything different with their lives that day other than go get a goddamn ticket. That was it. That was it. Put the numbers in. They get their number. Cool. Call a lawyer. Go in. Go pick up their check. Swipe left. Keep it pushing. But I can almost assure you that they didn't do anything different with the rest of that particular morning. Nothing different. Nothing. It happened the way it was supposed to. That's it. The person who won or the people that won it. The people who did not win it were not supposed to win it. Perfect situation. So now that person or the millions of people that played that didn't get it can, oh shit, I'm sorry, man. There we go. Sorry about that, guys. I was sitting over here talking and stuff and didn't even notice that. I'm sorry, guys. But the people that actually won it got it. The people that didn't. Yeah. But as we talked about before, the likelihood of you going out there, starting up a business and becoming a millionaire, that's astronomically more not only suitable, but more achievable than winning the lottery. Well, do you remember the ratio of when the people who win the lottery? It's like 1 in 200 and some million. 290 some million to 1. Or 1 to 290 some million. If you wanted to go out and go become a millionaire, it's 1 out of 11 people. 1 out of 11. Come on, man. And again, and that's all I'm talking about. When I talk about the perfect situation, that's it. And again, I'm not just talking about money or whatever by no means, but I'm just saying, good God. There you go. All right. So number 6 was check people with people pleasing habits. And then number 7 is create those time boundaries. By telling people, listen, man, I'm available from this time to this time. Again, I did that again today when I was working. Uh, One of the supervisors had to come through and do this thing in my home, and she's like, "Hey, what's your time?" I'm like, "Hey, I'm available from this time to this time." That's it. And she came literally within that time frame, and we finished up everything we need to finish up within 10, 15 minutes, and then they were gone. So, you know, like I told you guys before, my problem is that I have to do that with personal stuff. I could do it for business shit all day long. It's the personal thing that gets me. So either way, so what did you guys think about uh part one and part two? What did you guys think about this thing altogether? And would you guys want me to do these like every so often? Do like a part one of something and then a part two and then a reflection of those things or whatever? Or should I just kind of keep everything broken up uh and do no series? Like, what do you guys think? Again, there is a 60 to 90-second delay in which you see or hear, and vice versa. For those of you who just now showing up, we're actually about to kind of wrap it up. But welcome to Acts Fearless. My name is Fearless Cummings. I am your host and neighborhood life coach for the evening. On my channel, we talk about our dreams, goals, aspirations, and problems. And as your host, my job is to give you some practical and usable tools, tips, and strategies um, for those dreams, goals, and aspirations. And I do come with a warning, which is if you're easily offended, if you don't like to put in the work, if you don't like taking accountability, please swipe left and go about your business. But if you're willing to do the work, if you're willing to put that work in, hold yourself accountable, hold everybody else around you accountable, pull up a seat. We about to get into it. Well, not you, but everybody else will. And my question to everybody was I've been sorry about that. I did these presentations, part one, which is the subtle signs that this isn't love anymore. And the other one was 7 ways to reestablish your boundaries, because I believe a lot of this is based on your boundaries. And my question is, do we want topics where they need a part one and part two with the reflection to go with, or do you guys just want me to kind of keep it broken up and kind of go? All right, oh, here we go. Hold on. Let's look at what Miss Naomi said. She said I agree. Okay, yep, never mind. I already read that. Sorry about that, Naomi. Hold on. Here we go. Miss Jessica says, I love it when a topic is so good that it needs a part one and two. Okay. 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 So then is that a yes, Jessica? Jerry, what do you think, sir? Angie, I already know what you think because you're the one who told me to, hey, you should do this. Whatever. So, but I will ask you though, Angie, is this kind of what you were talking about? Is this what you were kind of expecting, or what do you think? Oh, Naomi says that I agree with Miss Jessica that they love it when something is so good that it needs a part one and two. Yeah, and technically, Jessica, you told me about doing this before, if you remember, but I think that we were talking about it from the aspect of putting them all in one, and I was like, nah, that's gonna take way too long. But I think that if we did something like this here, this is really fun to do something like this. This is really good stuff. So even if we're doing the EVLN thing from that book, maybe that could be like a 4-part series within itself. The exit, why do we exit? The tools, tips, and strategies on when to leave, how to leave, why are we leaving a situation, how to question whether or not we should be staying into this thing, voicing our opinions. Why does our voice matter? Um, Loyalty, what does that mean by definition? And then neglect. When is it okay to just sit around and just say, you know what, I'm good. I'm fine with that. Okay. And Jerry says, I like it broke down and then recapped. Well, shit, y'all have it. I'll start doing that then. Um, like I said, I think I have a few more in the run in the queue. So I think that after our 20th, um, I think on our 20th episode, we will start doing that. So because like I said, I got a few more that we're just gonna pump out, throw them out there, and then starting on our 20th episode, we will start doing a lot more of things where they're kind of put together. If you guys are okay with that, because I have a bunch of different things that we can kind of do with that. We'll do that for about 10 days, and then we'll see what you guys think about that. But either way, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for hanging out with me. I thought this was going to be a really short show, but damn, man, some of these topics are, and I love when y'all disagree with me. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, I love that shit. I like when you agree with me too, but I like when you don't. Just saying. I think it makes it fun, man. That I have to really bite down on what I'm talking about, or reevaluate it. There's nothing wrong with that. I love being wrong. But in the meantime, in between time, I will see you guys tomorrow night. I don't know what we're going to talk about, so it'll be a surprise. I will see you guys tomorrow. Have a great night. Get some sleep and dream big. Yes. All right, that works. Good night.